Alright, you made it to the video. I'm going to give you what you came for, live commentary of what I am doing and thinking behind the wheel as things are happening. We are running DOD front, upper, and lower control arms, unicorn knuckles, SPL, bump steer, tie rod kit V2, and shortened rear DOD lower control arms as well. Currently stock motor, we're running 195, 45, 15s in the back. This time line runs. Hilarious. So this particular run, first one of the day, I wasn't really trying to get too crazy or anything like that. Wanted to just feel out the course. Initiated in second, and I was still realizing how far the first corner actually went out, so I had to reinitiate midway through that particular one, but nothing too bad. The tires are fresh at this point as well, so we're getting a little bit more than just a little heat in there for sure, but feeling out the course. What was cool about this particular course as well is that it was ran by Good Luck League the day before, so we really didn't have to do much in terms of setup, just throw up a few cones for reference, but otherwise basically practicing on the off season, if you will. And this is the first of a few failed attempts to a 360. It was barely a 180 if that, but on to the next one. Now being the second run, I did initiate much sooner, but again, this still required me to manji, which is basically that left to right transition to get completely where the hairpin is and send it far enough to clear it. The good thing is picking up speed as you come back down towards the course itself or the pits, and I was choosing to keep it kind of tight so I could just keep up momentum and not too much of a slip angle, if that makes sense. I don't have an e-brake, so I usually just use angle to scrub speed, and in that particular moment I had the downshift in the first. Not ideal, but really was just having fun. Finally was just shaking the car out, feeling it out, being able to slide after a while. So my goal this particular run was to just throw it with a bit more speed. I was going to use all of second gear, so I initiate here with a little bit of a manji just to try and extend it, but you can hear that I'm banging rev limiter and really ringing it out. At this point I can't really take it out any further, and it is starting to slow down after the apex, but again, we're headed back on the downhill. I'm able to switch back and forth, my best to keep up momentum, and here I do a little bit of left foot braking just so I can come in a little bit tighter and rotate the vehicle, but you can tell it did slow me down a bit more. Here I went from first back into second just for fun, not like I really had any torque for that, but not a bad run. Definitely getting faster and more confident with the car. This was the final run of my first session. I was just like, let me use all the angle I have and all the course. So I initiated earlier, manji that first little section, and it did give me at least enough momentum to take it to where I wanted to be, but as you can see, I was losing some speed. I do like to feather the throttle a little bit during transition so I can make sure the wheel speeds up, but don't want to wash out. The car's pretty gripped up at this point still, so it's not like I will spin for most cases, especially with the angle. A little bit of left foot braking just to keep it tight, and a nice and easy transition both ways, kind of just letting the steering wheel do what it needs to. You know, just having fun. Don't gotta win practice. At this point is the second session. We've rotated the rear tires and watered them down, let it cool. I got Hector riding on my butt this time as well. You drive differently when you know someone's right behind you. You just a little bit more pressure, and as you can see, I'm starting to get my line as well as I can for all of second gear. Hector was right there on my butt cheeks. It was keeping me in line. The whole time I'm looking at my rear view and my side view mirrors during transitions, just trying to keep in mind where the other drivers are. Luckily with Hector, he can kind of predict what I'm going to do, so if I spin or anything like that, he's well aware. I had to give him the winks and the party mode. I think he did lose a little bit of speed the first time out chasing me because he's not used to going that slow, but we get back into it pretty quickly. I think this time I didn't necessarily clutch kick, I just rolled onto the throttle a little bit smoother, and you can see I didn't bang rev limiter, but I definitely was at the top of second. but still it doesn't quite give me enough gear to extend past that apex. So Hector's always coming in tight right towards the end. This one, a couple of quick switchbacks, and again, I could go deeper to the left, but I like to keep it pretty shallow so I can have enough grip and speed to carry it sliding all the way through these last two turns. Hector's right there on my ass this particular run, so of course the whole time I'm hearing turbo noises and blow off noises, so keeps you motivated not to spin, that's for sure. So I was still working with the launch, or at least the initiation, so you can hear right at that moment I gave it a bit of a clutch kick, but on the transition I did a little bit too much left foot braking, so I basically washed out. Luckily there's no cones there, so I was able to clutch kick and at least keep it sliding, but I definitely lost some speed and had to pick it back up right here as we were coming through the last two hairpins. Saw the homie coming up, so of course I had to give him the deuces. But yeah, it was a bit uneventful towards the end of that one, but you see how angle just kind of saves the car. All you got to do is clutch kick and hold it and you'll go where you need to. I was trying to left foot brake after initiating to extend it, but again, you can't really do that with the brake. You need to use an e-brake to extend drifts at times. So we're sitting over here, we are chasing Hector for the first time. I do not have as much power as him, obviously, so I was trying to just use angle to my advantage. He is SR20 stock with just an intercooler, though I just struggled, completely bogged, washed out here. A little embarrassing, but the good news is I got to watch my friend drift, which is always a good time. And right here I reinitiated. I tried to see if I can get back in line with where he was going to go, but he just kind of sent it. He's the host, he can do what he wants. I'm not really minding it. I was just enjoying driving with my friends and kind of getting the car set up for the next run at least, because I think I'm a little bit closer. At least I'm aware of how he's going to drive in the 240 this time around. Back up, Hector in front, me in the middle, Junior behind me, pushing me. This particular time I wasn't so much focused on trying to get close, but try to mimic where his car was, so at least that way I can keep it within drift. So I went a little bit wider around the apex. Again, I like to play with the throttle during my transitions. Here I'm gassing up Junior behind me because I see him in my side view just hitting it the whole fucking time. And right here I was about to send it, get a little closer to Hector, but notice the span, no big deal. Able to identify and react to the situation. And here I got a good shot of Junior just kind of ringing it out in that little TE. I've not seen that car go sideways, so it's just nice to see it working like that and getting ready, running with the dogs, as they say, for Outlaw. I got Hector riding shotgun, top down. It's most fun to drive with your friends, especially in a Miata, because once you get the drifting down, you want to bring someone with you. So I was just showing them how I drove it, initiating kind of early, using all second gear, playing with the throttle as I came around the corner, just because I drive a little bit more fun in my eyes like this. Transitions, I wasn't taking it that deep just so I can keep speed and get ready for the transition down here. I gave that guy a hand sign to show him that I saw him spin, and that's actually one of my most satisfying ways to slow down and initiate. It's like a quick downshift first. Could you blow up your transmission? Yes, but if you know how to handle your car, it's kind of a fun way to slow down. There's my second failed 360 attempt. We did go back to go check on him just to make sure he was all good in the hood. I think he was. It was just a small event. Go check on your friends.
It's good, my breaker. Oh, okay. He's like, I got a plan. I've never seen this car posted.
Giving it all the beans. Again, using all of second that I can. A little bit of left foot brake right here to get the car to rotate how I want it to. As I come back down, I'm just full throttle. I do clutch kick slightly to get it going to the left, but you'll notice on transition I just let off throttle and it's able to swing back the way that it needs to. I think here too it goes a little further and I tap the brake just to have it rotate towards the end a little bit more. but you can hear it not necessarily low on power, but it pedaling it towards the end there. It could be PSI. I'm running like 35, 45 PSI. I could pump it up a little bit more. This run, we got Junior behind me. Got some good angles of him. This man's a bully. He has a lot of sim training, so I knew I had to basically send it. So that's the top of second, driving extra aggressive. I think I clutch kicked almost every transition on this particular one. I see him in my side view the whole time, and I know he's not afraid to get close. So I start to adjust my line a little bit to give him space once I realize he is getting that close. So that's why I just go really wide here, because I'm not really trying to tighten it up. I didn't want to risk any quick adjustments for him. I know he would be able to react, but you know, we're having a good time, so as you can see. At this point, I knew I had to just give it all the beans, make sure there's enough distance. So you'll see after I initiated, I still turned a little bit more to the left to give myself as much distance as I can before transitioning towards the right. So I'm using all the course and all the gear that I can. Still haven't just shifted up to third, which I will later on in the video in this particular session. But for now, just using all of second just because I was having a good time. You can see he was getting there, right up on the dad. So this is why I go a little bit wide. I didn't want him to have to make it too tight. And he more than likely just would have shut it down, but I didn't mind going a little bit wider to try to get a little bit closer. I did a similar thing this initiation as I did the previous one, so you'll see that I will clutch kick to initiate, and you'll see one more turn to the left to give it a little bit more angle, and then I'll transition all the way to the right. I'll let off throttle to let it rotate, and then once I'm going the direction I need to, back on throttle, clutch kick just to snap back the other direction. And I also like to communicate to people sometimes that I'm actually going to transition, so that's what I use that clutch kick for. And right here, this is what I noticed, he was just in my side view, so that's why I clutch kicked on the downhill, went a little bit wider, had to shift into first just to keep the tire spinning, but it was fun towards the end too, because we were really just getting closer and closer, everyone, trying to keep the paint nice, not pretend. So this particular time, tried to initiate almost sooner, but obviously that was too early because I was already transitioning and had to reinitiate. But it was giving me enough speed to be close enough to them. One way to get closer to people is you want to try to initiate before them. That way you can already be the direction and the speed you need to be going to get a little bit closer. I was about to give it to it and send it, but as you can see, he straightened out and corrected in that moment, which is fine. Glad I didn't smash into the back of him or anything. I was talking to Pez and noticed how he and Junior both go into third for their initiation. So you see I started in third, downshift into second. I just clutch kicked it. Gave it all the beans, and it was able to catch itself and kept sliding. It does take me out much further in that hairpin, as well as surprisingly still have the ability to slide left and right. So I think a couple more times in this video you'll see me start in third. I thought you'd be faster if you initiated in second, but you just don't have enough gear to bring it all the way out like you would if you were in third, being in second the whole time.
Look at that. Hey, bro, why are you in third? I'm like, bro, no.
Right, so here you see me going all the way into third, ringing it out, and clutch kicking to third, left, clutch kick to the right, downshift, full clutch kick. We're keeping it moving the whole way through. It was a lot of fun, honestly. I had the biggest smile on my face causing these particular entries, and it's making me more confident. I've done third before, but I've always felt like there wasn't really enough of a reason to go all the way into third, but now that I see what it can do and how there's still enough power up there, I might have to do it a little bit next time we get to Sonoma. These runs, I think they were just solo runs at the moment, but third is definitely the way to be in that first one. Just like last time, shipped a little early to get it in third. The transmission was moving a little bit. Clutch kick to the left, clutch kick to the right, a downshift with the full beans, and it carries it all the way through. I have way more wheel speed as I'm coming back down towards the pits, and just a bigger smile on my face than last time because I'm getting more and more confident with it. The only thing is I don't really have an e-brake, so if speed gets too crazy, I just have to rely on left foot braking and angle. I had fun. No hands, counter steering, using my knees. You know how it is. A little practice for Sonoma if that ever happens again. It's an homage to the Wednesday night drifts. If you know, you know. Being in third, I also just changed where I would position myself, because you can kind of steer the car a little bit more on the top of third where you want it to go versus second. You only have so much gear, so it's going to stay in drift. At that point, I downshifted to second. I didn't really clutch kick too much through here. I think I just let off throttle. It's a little bit of a smoother transition if you're able to snap back. And here, got too confident, fucking washed out, was mad about it. Just reinitiated the drift, but man, I was trying to do back-to-back. This is fine. Party mode, still a party, you could tell it was there. We were like that close, but luckily we hit it right before. You can see compared to the beginning of the video, I'm initiating later, being in third, and I'm also going much further out as well compared to like almost hitting that chalk line where it used to be versus sailing past it in second, being able to bring it all the way around with enough wheel speed. Again, playing with the throttle a little bit during the transitions so I can kind of fill it out and catch the car, but the Miata is pretty grippy. And then at this point, I start to notice how close he is behind me, so I do let it go a little wide just for fun. See if he has enough speed to get close, but I really could have just stuck to the normal line. He's more than capable of not hitting me. Here I basically ran out of luck. Again in third, clutch kick to the left, and immediately clutch kick to the right. Then I downshifted too early, and it just caused me to spin out basically. But, you know, I got angle, it doesn't count. But, you don't win them all. Alright, this time I actually did downshift into second when I'm supposed to, or at least when I thought I was supposed to. I did have to feather the throttle a little bit more this time around to get it to rotate, but it was still a good time. You could hear that the tires were screaming, and I could see how close Junior was this particular run, so I just kind of focused a little bit more on him. And there's a cone in the middle of the track these last couple runs. Unfortunately sent it straight at Junior, but yeah, didn't seem to mind and kept it pushing all the way towards the end where I had to downshift. I think just to keep the tire spinning, get a little rowdy towards the end. Okay, so at this point, I had to turn a little bit more to initiate. You can hear I let off throttle and just downshifted, and then revved it all the way back up to let out the clutch. I was really aware that Junior was putting some more pressure, so I just started clutch kicking these few transitions as well. Again, trying to communicate to behind me that I'm about to, but he can see, and eventually you can tell what people are going to do once you drive enough with them. He cut it in a little closer, so I didn't mind going wide. I'm just, you know, I'm here for a good time, not a long time, so it was just fun to getting closer and closer, and I think at this point I was in first, but still, wasn't complaining. Now being in third, I can just huck it at that first cone if I want to, but I was a bit later this time, and it definitely took me out much further. So again, downshifting into second, picking up speed as we get back down towards the pits. Didn't use as many clutch kicks this time. It's a little smoother, if you can believe it or not clutch kicking to transition. And here, I believe I did some left foot braking as well, which slowed me down and changed the angle to make it a bit more curved. But seeing how close he got, I just eventually tried to bring it back out wide, but my car does not have all the torque right now, so I just called it at that point. I'm pretty sure he had it, but I didn't want to bring it back in too close. I didn't mind. Now we got Hector riding behind me. Really don't have to worry about much at this point. Me and Hector have driven a lot together, so he can tell if I'm going to spin and anticipate what I'm about to do. He is not as aggressive, at least this particular run, as me when it comes to driving the car, but it's understandable. He's not trying to break anything. No, we're not trying to win practice. That being said, I didn't mind basically hucking it every which way that I felt necessary, just because I knew he was going to be able to anticipate and he was giving space this particular run anyway. Here you can hear the car bogging towards the end. A few extra clutch kicks, even being at the bottom of second, but it gets the job done. Also, did you hear Tori's car? That is ridiculous. I don't know what was coming behind me. On to the next run. call this one of the money shots just because nothing went pretty smoothly this particular run. The angle at the beginning was funny. I think we both went a bit wider, or at least he was already sliding at this point, just because it looked like he was following my line more so, not trying to mimic it. But he did get on me as we went down closer towards the pits, especially towards the end. I could definitely hear him engine pushing a bit more and more. That's that proximity right there. It's a lot for Miatas. Just having fun. You can't really complain. I think I'm just in second, bogging while he's in second, revving it out. So no excuse, but I'm just saying.
Let's walk.
Getting a chance to chase Hector in the Miata this time. I was trying to time my transitions, though they are a bit late to get a little bit closer. That was my first time trying to get closer in third, so I wasn't sure when to downshift, but I was able to keep pretty good proximity. I think he just started to slow down a bit more, because he doesn't really go off of course, even though it's chalk. He will stay on course, which I don't fault him for that, of course. If anything, it allowed me to get a bit closer towards the end. And again, you can see how Hector actually pulls it back up, so I just gave him enough space for us to both transition and kind of cheat, keep it in first, and act like I actually had speed or grip to get closer to him. But at this point, my tires are about done. But we're making it work for the shots, if nothing else. At this point, I'm locked in. I'm trying to get these transitions. You see it? The closer I transition to him, at least in timing, the less distance I have to travel. Pulled the e-brake a couple times. It actually worked. I was surprised, but I was excited myself. At this point, I gave it a lot of angle, full lock. I felt it rev the control arms a little bit. We brought it back towards the end. I was giving it all the beans, a little bit of the e-brake. You saw the car slide a bit more. I'm surprised it worked. In some extreme cases, my e-brake will try to lock the rear wheels. It looks like it did it those few times, but definitely want to get something a bit more consistent, upgrade the pads. Boy, we've been hot lapping all day. The car, you see it struggled a bit to get into third. I did need to be mindful of how I'm shifting at the top of second. But here you can also see I was getting a little too comfortable with the e-brake, and it did cause me to lose a bunch of speed, so I had to restart. I'm still experimenting with the e-brake, trying to see exactly when to use it and how much force to use with this particular case. Towards the end, I was just keeping the wheel speed up, not so much trying to get that much closer, but just follow his line. And the good thing about driving with your friends is you can kind of just tell when certain things are going to happen. So here, I have a lovely flourish at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Try to do more of these, switch up the angle a little bit more, just so that we can get a different perspective and just more ideas of what's going on. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Let me know stuff if you want to below.